So anybody tell me in last class till where we were covered? Anybody of you, please tell me till where we have covered.
So muscular tissue, ma'am.
Muscular disc, ma'am.
We saw three types: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle. And we
Very
stopped
good. Very good. So a few part of tissue is remaining today. We will cover that part of tissue and we will go for the question answer sessions. We will have a lot of time today after completing the tissue. So be ready. Now I am presenting my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Yesterday we have covered muscle tissue. So muscle tissue are of three types. First one is skeletal muscle or skeletal muscle tissue, or second one is smooth muscle tissue, and third one is cardiac muscle tissue. Now we will go further. The next part of tissue is nervous tissue. It is the most complex tissue in human body, as human brain is the most complex structure of human body. So nervous tissue will also be the most complex tissue in human body. So our nervous system or brain or spinal cord or a nervous system is spreading all over the body. So our whole nervous system is made up of neurons and sensory, motor, and mixed neurons. So this nervous tissue is the most complex tissue in human body. It helps in sending different kinds of information to brain and bringing its responses back from brain to effector organ. Means when we get any type of senses or we have to react for that, then the sensory information and motor information are delivered by this nervous tissue only. So it collects the information and it gives to brain receives it, and brain replies to this information and react according to our brain says to us. This is the main function of nervous tissue. Sometimes it is not, sometimes our nervous system do not involve the higher authority or brain. It works in lower level too, that is known as reflex action or reflex arc. We will study in detail all this in further classes. So now we will focus on tissue. So there are two distinct cells in nervous tissue. Two types of cells we can found in nervous tissue. First one is neuron or nerve cells. Second one is neuroglia or glial cells. We will know what are these. Let's go for the functions. So what do? They regulates and controls body functions. As our brain says to us, we work as the brain controls or governs us. So it regulates and control our body functions. Brain controls our sympathetic or parasympathetic activities. And each and every part of body is controlled by brain only. So they regulates and controls the body functions, generates and transmit nerve impulses. How this information are traveling, how the sensory information and motor information are going and coming from brain and to brain. They are transmitted by generating nerve impulses. Electrical and chemical impulses are there. Like action potential is generated. Means if a mosquito is biting us in our fingertips or any part of the body, our body generates some electrical impulse, and those electrical impulse delivered to our nervous system, and nervous system reacts, and we react to the mosquito. So this process is completed by transmission of electrical impulses. So they generate and transmit electrical impulses. What neurons or glial cells do? Electrical impulses are only done by neurons only. So they generate, regulate and control body functions, generate and transmit nerve impulses, and supports and protect impulse generating neurons. They also support and protect those vital or important parts of body. Those are impulse generating neurons. So we will discuss in detail now neuron or nerve cell. What is neuron or a nerve cell? Structural and functional unit of nervous system. This nervous system is a kind of different type of system, or the structure and functions here are a bit different from whole body. So we will see these now. Structural and functional unit of nervous system. Neurons are single cells. Neurons or nerve cells are single cells, and they form our whole nervous system. So they are structural and functional unit of our nervous system. So conducting cells or excitable cells. They are conducting cells. Means as we are discussing that they conduct some kind of electrical or chemical impulse. Means they carry information and they send information and receive information. That is why it is written here conducting. They send information and receive information. That is why they are conducting cells. Now, primary type of cell. Yes, they are primary, means they are cell only, basic unit only of nervous system. And now the communication between brain and the body. Yes, the communication between brain and the body is connected by nervous system only. Means brain is in the skull and our whole body is in the lower side, but brain is the higher authority, and this higher authority is connected by the each and every cell of body, or as like our government, like our prime minister is higher authority of India, and we are the each and every cells of country. Means a country is made up of each and every people. Like that only, our body is made up of each and every cell, and a higher authority prime minister or brain is not aware of each and every cell. They are connected by some representatives. Like we vote some people and they are our representative in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, and they convey our message to the higher authority. Like that only, our each and every cells in the body, they need something or they want to repel something, so they convey their message through these neurons, and these neurons transmit information to brain. So communication between brain and body is done by neuron cells only, neurons or nerve cells only. So there are two parts of a neuron, mainly cell body or cytone or soma. These are different names of same thing, cell body or cytone or soma. Soma means body, large irregular set. You can see here in the structure of a neuron, yellowish color of neuron is shown here. And in the middle of the cell body, you can see here, this is a cell body. You can see here, the purple colored nucleus is present in the middle of cell body, and yellowish colored cell body and its branches are spreaded just like a tree. These are dendrites. Purple colored circle is nucleus, and yellowish colored is cell body, and the branches in the head of cell body, just like a tree, are dendrites. And the long part, extended part of cell body is axon. And this round protecting covering part in axon, you can see, are myelin sheath. We will see in detail all this. And the last part, as like a root of tree, this you can see here, this is the last part of neuron, and just like a root of tree, this is synapse or the tail of neuron. So the soma is body of the cell. It is large and irregular shape. There is no fixed shape of cell body. It may be of any type of shape. Only the thing is, it will carry dendrites and nucleus. The cell body is the central region, which is the most important part of neuron, containing nucleus of the cell. Obviously, nucleus is the brain of the cell. So in which part the brain is containing, that is the main part of that body. As like our main part of body is our head. If head is cut down, then we will not live anymore. We will die. So our head is the main part of our body. So means our brain is containing in the skull, and it is in the head only, and most of the vital organs are there in the head only. So head is the most important part of our body. If head is cut down, or if head is made different, or head is separated from body, then the importance of body is not anymore there. So it is cell body is the most important part of neuron. Many extensions of cell membrane, which are generally referred to as the processes. I'm not getting it just now. We'll proceed for further axons. Axon is the extended part of cell body. You can see here. Here you can see a complete neuron in which there is a cell body containing nucleus, and it is spreading its dendrites, and the extension of, you can see here, this is cell body. It is containing a nucleus inside it, and it's spreading its dendrites. And now it is extended to axons, and this axon is covered by this small kind of sheath known as myelin sheath. And the last part or root of tree-like structure is axon terminals. And now these terminals convey their message to next dendrites, next neuron, and the neuron receives information by its dendrites. Like you can see in the previous structure. Here, a previous neuron is conveying its message to this neuron by their axon terminals, and it is receiving by its dendrites. Now it will process inside the cell body and it will convey its message to the next neuron by axon terminals, and the next neuron will receive by dendrites. So what are axons? Axons are cable-like projection. It is a cable-like projection. You can see here, a cord-like projection. Axon is extension of cell body. Each nerve cell has only one axon longer than the dendrites. Obviously, axon will be longer than dendrites. Transmit nerve impulse away from the cell body. Yeah. The point where axon arises axon arises from a cell body is termed as axon hillock. Yes. When axon is starting, like the junction point of cell body and axon is known as axon hillock. This point, the junction point of cell body and axon, is known as axon hillock. Synaptic buttons are specialized structures where neurotransmitter chemicals are released to communicate with target neurons. Yes, we have discussed just right now only this thing, that axon terminals convey their message to next neuron, to their dendrites, and the gap between dendrite and the previous axon terminal is known as synaptic gap. Like you can see here, the previous neuron is conveying their message from axon terminals, and the next neuron is receiving by its dendrites, but they are not attached fully. A very minimal gap is present in between axon terminals and dendrites. This gap is known as synaptic gap. Okay. So, yeah, the axolemma is the cell membrane surrounding axon. Okay. Axon is having a membrane. So the membrane covers axon is known as axolemma. Axons are surrounded by myelin sheath. You can see here. You can see here more clearly. Round covered structure is present, like some bandage like structure is present, like some bandage is done around axon. You can see here, these bandages are myelin sheath. These are the bandages present in axon. So these bandages are myelin sheath. Their functions are very important, and we will discuss it later. Or I think we have to discuss it here only. Axons are surrounded by myelin sheath. This consists of series of Schwann cells. Means this myelin sheath are made up of Schwann cells arranged along the length of axon. The outermost layer of Schwann cell plasma membrane is the neurilemma. It is going somewhat more detail. If you want to remember, then it's okay. If you don't want to remember, don't let it go. There are tiny areas exposed to axolemma between adjacent Schwann cell called nodes of Ranvier, which assist the rapid transmission. Here you can say some gap is present in between myelin sheath. Here. In between two myelin sheath, some gap is present, just like when we see a rail line, some gaps are there in between the lines like that only. In between two myelin sheath, a little gap is present that is known as node of Ranvier. Node of Ranvier is the gap between two myelin sheath. The outermost layer of Schwann cell. Okay. There are tiny areas exposed exolemma between adjacent Schwann cell called nodes of Ranvier, which assist the rapid transmission. They help in rapid transmission of information. So they speed up the transmission or they speed up the communication in between nervous system. Now, we will proceed to dendrites. Dendrites are extension of cell bodies. They are tree-like structure, highly branched and processes. Transmit nerve impulse toward the cell body and axon. Obviously, they just receive the information and they transmit towards the cell body and axon. Receive information from other neurons. Okay. And this is a complete structure of a neuron. You can see here. We have studied cell earlier. You can see all the features of cell in the cell body of neuron. And axon, axon terminals, dendrites, myelin sheath, these are the extra structure of a neuron which makes it different from other cells. So these are the very specialized or complex structure of a cell. Or one neuron can be 1 meter also, means they can be the largest cell, largest cell in the body. Means one neuron can be of 1 meter. You can imagine. Cells are very, very tiny structure. They can't be seen in our naked eyes. If we want to see a cell, then we have to use a microscope. But neurons are the specialized kind of cell. They can be of 1 meter also. You can see here each and every property of a cell is present in the cell body of neuron. This is depicted in red color here, and the previous neuron is depicted in peach color here. You can see this is the previous neuron, and the axon terminal is present here, and the axon terminal is conveying its message to the dendrite of this neuron. And here you can see this is the synaptic gap. This peach color is the previous neuron. This peach color is the axon terminal, and this green are the informations, or they are the electrical impulses, and this is the synaptic gap between two neurons, and these are the receptors, blue colored receptors present in the surface of dendrites. You can see here the next neuron is depicted as red color, and on the body of red colored neuron there are blue colored receptors present. So they are receiving the information released by the previous neuron. Okay, and we can see here the axons, and the axons are covered by blue colored myelin sheath here. Actually, myelin sheath are not blue colored. Myelin sheath are of white color. That is why our spinal cord is white. Means we will study it further. Let me discuss it. Myelin sheath are of white colored. That is why the gray matter and white matter are found in brain. Like neurons, means this cell body is of gray colored, and the axon is covered by myelin sheath, and myelin sheath is of white color. So where the cell body is concentrated, there gray matter is present. And where these axons and myelin sheath are concentrated, there white matter is present. So that is why our brain is having white matter inside and gray matter in the surface area. But our spinal cord represent the opposite of brain. Our spinal cord is having gray matter inside the brain and white matter, sorry, gray matter inside the spinal cord and white matter at the surface level of spinal cord. So white matter means concentration of axons or myelin sheath, and gray matter means concentration of these cell body. So now we will further proceed to neuroglia or glial cells. These are non-conducting cells or non-excitable cells. These are the cells we can also found in our nervous tissue, but they do not conduct or they do not convey information. They are glue-like. They help to convey information, but they do not have the capacity to convey information. They can't generate electrical or chemical impulse. They just help the neurons or nerve cells. Surround the neurons, more glial than neurons. Means glial cells are more in number than neurons. The functions of glial cells are provide support, protect, and nutrition to neurons, acting as macrophages, detoxification, regulating the flow of blood, produce myelin sheath. So these are the very important functions of neuroglia or glial cells. They provide support to neurons, they protect neurons, they provide nutrition to neurons, they act as macrophages. Macrophages means we have studied it earlier. Anybody? Please reply me. What do you understand by macrophages? Please reply me. We have discussed it earlier. No one? Okay. I think you will remember when I will
Ma'am, they
tell.
are part of the cell. Um, Macrophages we have covered while we were studying about cells.
Yeah, please repeat.
Macrophages are the same that was covered while we were studying about cell.
No. Macrophage is a process where in which the unwanted particles or unwanted material was being digested.
Yeah, while we were studying cell, you explained about what do we say, the lysosome, and you said that
Very good.
it's considered as the suicidal bag
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it will digest its own self.
yeah. It digests its own by default, but not by default, by its own what we can say, by its own fault, it digests itself. That is why known as suicidal bag. But the main function is to digest unwanted or foreign materials. So that is why these neuroglial cells also act as macrophages. Means they digest the unwanted particles or unwanted matter in the nervous system. So thus they protect our nervous system. They act like macrophages, means they digest the unwanted matter or foreign matter present or comes in the nervous system. And they detoxifies. In the process of detoxification also, glial cells help and regulating flow of blood produce myelin sheath. So these are the very important cells of our nervous tissue. So here our tissue is finished. Any doubt? Okay, no doubt.
Ma'am, can you show the picture of the glial cells again?
Glial cells picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have included. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, can you see my screen? I was explaining till now what are glial cells and how they look like.
Yeah, I was listening to you, but I want to see the picture of glial cells.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't.
showing that only, and I was explaining with the picture, and there was no response. Means I was asking.
Ma'am, you can just show the slide.
Actually, in slide I have not shown. It's my fault only. I'm sorry for that. Yeah. This is a type of microglia. This is a type of microglia. I have shown here in a very small amount. I think it will be, yeah, this is a type of glial cell. You can see here. And they do not contain any axon. And they are
Yes,
very
ma'am.
different from neurons. They can't transmit information or they can't generate electrical impulse. So they just support, they provide nutrition, they protect and detoxifies and help in regulating blood flow, and they produce myelin sheath too. So these are the functions of glial cells, and this is a picture of microglia.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. So I think there are no more questions. So now we will go for the question answer session. So yeah. Rajinder, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Please categorize me or tell me the types of connective tissue.
Types of connective tissue.
Yeah.
There are 7 types of connective tissue:
Hmm.
areolar, adipose, blood connective tissue, lymphoid connective tissue,
Hmm. And
dense connective tissue,
Hmm.
cartilage,
Hmm.
bone. I think 7 हो गए.
Yeah, very good.
Yes.
Now, please tell me something about adipose connective tissue.
Adipose connective tissue.
Hmm.
It's a free fat cells.
Yeah, please repeat.
It's a free fat cells.
Hmm.
It insulates the body. Its functions are protect some organs.
Hmm.
They are large in size or shape. Maybe. बस मैम इतना ही याद है.
Oh, thank you. Very good. Now, Swaminathan, can you please unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Please tell me about cartilage.
Cartilage connective tissue is it is firmer than any other tissue,
Hmm.
which means it's very hard. And there are 3 types we saw: hyaline cartilage,
Hyaline
fibro,
cartilage.
hyaline, no ma'am, HYALINE.
Okay, don't
Okay.
go
Then
further.
fibro cartilage and
Hmm.
elastic cartilage. That is the external. Here we saw the elastic cartilage.
Just give one example of 3.
Elastic cartilage, the external ear.
Hmm.
And then fibro cartilage.
Very simple. They are found in a specific part of body. They are found in between the vertebrae.
Vertebrae.
They
Okay.
are cushion-like. And go for the hyaline cartilage.
Hyaline cartilage also
Give me one example of hyaline cartilage only.
hyaline cartilage in between the joints, the connective tissues between the joints.
Yeah, cartilage is the. It will obviously in between joints only. You are somewhat correct, but be specified. You are not specifying yourself.
Correct. Oh, yeah. Example,
Okay, no problem. You were very good in your answers. Actually, hyaline cartilages are found in, I have told you, in between the chest bones, like
Correct.
the joint in between sternum and rib bones.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, can you remember?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I remember.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, some work is some waiting for me. Tomorrow I will join class, ma'am.
You want to leave the class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
So, Usha,
Yes, ma'am.
please tell me about lymphoid connective tissue.
Lymphoid connective tissue, it's also known as the reticular connective tissue. And there are various kinds of these reticular fibers, which are like monocytes, lymphocytes, and also the reticular cells. These are found in bone marrow, ma'am. Bone marrow and lymph nodes.
What you were telling about leukocytes, or what was that point?
Which point, ma'am?
Uh,
I
what
told the first point is lymphoid connective tissue is also called as reticular connective tissue.
Hmm.
That's the first point. And the second point is there are various types of um, leukocytes where these reticular fibers are found.
Hmm. Reticular fiber means these consist of lymphoid connective tissue, consist of reticulin fibers and various type of leukocytes. Leukocytes means white blood cells, and white blood
So
cells are
are they contained in the leukocytes? I was understanding in that way. I thought it's these reticulin
I told
cells.
you to repeat that. I understand that your concept was not clear. So this lymphoid connective tissue consists of reticulin fibers with various types of leukocytes, means white blood cells. Means reticulin fibers and white blood cells are composing lymphoid connective tissue.
So both put together comprises of lymphoid connective tissue. Did I
Yes,
understand it right now?
yes.
Okay,
Reticulin fibers, leukocytes, and reticular cells. These
okay.
three
Got it.
these three are consisting of lymphoid connective tissue.
Okay, so when I answer this, I should be saying reticulin fibers, leukocytes, and reticular cells, all three.
Yeah.
Okay. So, lymphoid connective tissues consists of reticulin fibers, leukocytes, and reticular cells.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. And this tissue is found in bone marrow, lymph nodes,
Hmm.
tonsils.
Hmm.
Then that's all I can remember, ma'am.
Okay. And their
And
functions?
functions is because they are associated with leukocytes which are related to WBCs, so they support the immune system in immune response,
Hmm.
and they also form the body's defense,
Obviously.
and they protect us from various foreign bodies and infections.
Hmm. Very good. And who is left here? Saravanan. I'm sorry to pronounce your name. I think I'm wrong about the pronunciation. Please pronounce it. Yes, sir. Please, can you please pronounce your name once?
Saravanan.
Okay, Saravanan. Um,
Yeah.
have you attended yesterday's class?
No, just this is first time, ma'am. Today only I started my class.
Okay, you are preparing for
Just I'm listening. Just I am
NET.
listening. Yeah, ma'am.
Are you preparing for NET JRF exam?
No, ma'am. This is first time, ma'am.
Yeah, it is your first time, but are you preparing for NET JRF exam?
Yeah, and last 1 month only preparing now.
Okay. And you are student of yoga?
Yes, ma'am. This my language is Tamil, so just I am listening. Just to improve, ma'am.
No problem. Language is not a barrier in India. We,
Okay, ma'am.
I am from Bengal. I am a Bengali. No problem.
Okay.
Language is never a problem. But
Okay, ma'am. I will improve.
I am asking that you are student of yoga.
Yeah, I am a student, ma'am. Just I am a MSc first year in yoga, ma'am.
Okay. Be continuous in class and you will understand everything.
Definitely, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
much students are not there in the class. We will conclude with the ending prayer. Sit comfortably. Upright your spine, close your eyes, adopt Namaskar Mudra in front of your chest, and repeat the prayer with me. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve shantu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukh bhag bhave. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now rub your palms. Put those palms on your facial muscles. Feel the warmth. And open your eyes with a smile. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am.